Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another lovely Minecraft discussion here in the woods with the bugs, which are okay because it's like it's a gorgeous day. Just gotta like let the bug thing go, right? Between Mother's Day and Father's Day, they say, right? The black flies. Anyway, this is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to have this chat with you out here today about just stop looking for ways to be unworthy, to find, because lots of us do that because we're on autopilot, and we talked about it, right? 95 to 96% of everything we say and do is coming from the vault of the unconscious mind. And so here's the thing, we're going to run that drill through our heads. Actually, I'm going to come back to that. Wait a second. All right, so the vault thing, hold that. And also I wanted to bring up, because this is the strong push for this one today, is that we don't do anything as human beings unless there's payoff in it. We just don't. That can be genuine. I'm not saying it's bad. It can be, genuine, feel-good stuff, and also paychecks. The world does run on money. We talked about that too. We don't do anything unless there's payoff in it. And here's the thing. Self-punishment actually is one of the strongest reinforcers that there is for our behavior. You might say, oh, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, but it does. Because if you grew up in, if you had a childhood where a lot of, unkind things were said to you, at the same time as you weren't, you didn't have your value mirrored for you, and all this, positive affirmation of your little infant self and your little toddler self and your little early child self and middle child self and teenager self, if you didn't have your mirror valued for you, and then combine that, if you were actually mistreated or even abused, then you learned to become comfortable with not being treated well. Definitely true for me. I had to explore the whole trauma bonding thing later in life, because I was wondering why was I sort of being nice to people who were clearly just not good to me. This is a while ago, but I'm like, I was aware of it too. I was aware of it, and even sometimes seeking out their approval in subtle ways. And I knew it was screwed up, But that's what happens when so much is going on in the vault, and there's payoff in it. And so, if that was the case for you as a child, until you kind of do the work, remember to be patient with yourself. If you're starting on that path now, or you're partially along the way, oh, look, an inchworm just hanging there. That's fun. Okay, so if you're on that path, you got to be patient with yourself, because remember that stuff's strong. That's been brewing and stewing and on the back burner for years, maybe even decades. And so it can absolutely be undone, and you can absolutely rewire your brain, and you do have that agency and that control. You can totally heal, like 100%, and even come out stronger in the end. We talked about that, right? Post-traumatic growth. And even if what happened to you didn't qualify as trauma, it might have been big stress, it might have just bad stuff anywhere in the middle, right? You can heal from all that and come out even better, right? We talked about it. Turn your pain into power, turn your wounds into wisdom. I don't usually speak in bumper sticker, but those really work for this. So here's the thing. You got to be aware of it before you can do anything. We cannot do what we do not know. Once we become aware, we become responsible. A quote I frequently use from my dear friend Dr. Dave, and it's just so true, because think about it. How can you access what you don't have? You can't. But then once we become aware, we have a responsibility to ourselves and those in our lives, because everything we do affects the people in our lives as well, right? And so it's important to first get it, that this is what you're doing, because it's going to be unconscious. We talked about that. Unconscious for, until it becomes conscious, and then we've got to really talk back to that stuff. Remember that we talked about thoughts being like the appetizers to beliefs, because we act out every single day what we truly believe about ourselves. We teach people how to treat us. So it's kind of like, if you're thinking the same thoughts, you're going to believe the same things about yourself, and you're going to put this out there to the world every day in every way, and people are going to treat you the same. So that makes sense. Same leads to same. And so, therefore, if you're looking for ways to not be enough, you're going to find them. Like 100%, you're going to find them. And also that leads us back into another thing we talked about, which is confirmation bias, right? And so in Cog Psych we talk about this, because it's also what gets in the way of, what leads to prejudice and discrimination and everything like that. So it's bigger than us even. But for what our purpose is today and what we're talking about, looking to find ourselves unworthy, looking for ways to find ourselves not measuring up, not being enough in all kinds of different ways, that we're flawed and defective, that's all shame talking, okay? And so confirmation bias is seeking out that which we already believe. So that applies to like political views and religious views and all that too. It also applies to how we believe about ourselves. So we're going to actively seek out unconsciously every day in the people in our lives, even if they're good people, they don't want to put you down. They don't want to, it doesn't matter, not aware of it happening either. Because you're putting it out there, don't treat me well, or don't treat me as well as I deserve to be treated, all the way to doormat, welcome right on your forehead, tattooed, And so we are going to confirm those messages every day until we talk back to it. And okay, the second part of that confirmation bias is to ignore messages to the contrary, evidence that goes against those beliefs. True for political beliefs, true for religious beliefs, and all the kinds of various horrible prejudice beliefs out there. We're going to stick with this for right now, is we ignore evidence to the contrary. So somebody says nice things, even we get an award and we don't even take the time to sit with it and let the good in. We don't let the compliments in. We don't acknowledge a fact. We just got acknowledged for some, creative thing we did, or some humanitarian thing we did, or, like we smile, nod, shake hands, and get off the stage or off the platform or whatever. We don't take the time to really acknowledge, like, wow, that felt good. I did that. Or all that hard work paid off, or whatever. We ignore the good things people say to us. We might hear them smile and nod, but we're not really taking it in. Why? Because it doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. It's almost like, you try to type something into your phone, it's a word it doesn't recognize. Anyone who's been frustrated with spell check, my gosh. So it's kind of like, if it's not in the phone, it's not going to recognize the word. It's going to try to change it to something else. Well, the unconscious does that too. If it hears you're amazing, wow, you're intelligent, wow, you're so bright, you are so creative, you're so this, you're so that, and it can't be picked up by your own hard drive, your own spell check is going to turn it into, you're stupid, you're not as smart as everybody else, you're maybe a little creative, but not really, it's going to change it to match what it already knows. All right, so in order to undo that, we've got to talk back to it, and because the positive affirmations are a start. We need those little baby thoughts, those little baby thoughts to grow up and become beliefs. However, this is a start. And remember that the brain loves patterns. So the more you repeat it, the better off you are. Challenge when you pay attention to your feelings. Remember, thoughts come first and feelings second. So if you get a wave of shame feeling, which you can't really miss, it's like this warm, not warm nice, warm yuck. Just, at least for me, it's warm, I'm going to say, rolls right over. I can just feel it. Like, wow, where's that coming from? Because there had to be thoughts first. There had to be. Even if they were unconscious, thoughts come first, and that's how it goes. So pay attention to your feelings, because they're kind of like the barometer for what's going on in the cabeza, in the unconscious. All right, so that's it. Stop looking for ways to find yourself unworthy, ways you can be unworthy, that you don't measure up, that you're flawed and defective because you're not. Your spirit is perfect. You just got to talk back to that stuff. Okay, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from buggy, but beautiful, Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.